Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone, wherever you are. I am Manohara Khadka, country representative for International Water Management Institute, Nepal. On behalf of NEXUS Gains Initiative, I am delighted to welcome you today in this NEXUS Gains webinar, Transformative Leadership Program for Women Professionals in the Water, Energy, Food Ecosystem NEXUS. In 2022, NEXUS Gain Initiative of the CGIAR carried out a study to assess barrier for water, energy, food ecosystem, WEFE, NEXUS stakeholder, including women professionals in Nepal. Women across the government and non-state actors stress the need for more confident buildings to operate effectively and also have influence in a male-dominated work environment, while also advancing their knowledge and skill in WEFE NEXUS science. To address this, the NEXUS Gain Initiative launched the WEFE leadership course in June 2023 in collaboration with the Great International Nepal Governance Lab, International Water Management Institute, the Alliance of Biodiversity International, and CGIAR. The course aimed to create WEFE NEXUS champion that advance the uptake and implementation of people-centric WEFE approaches while contributing to greater equality and social inclusion among professionals. Over 6 months, altogether 22 participants, including 17 women, 5 men, and 19 mentors from WEFE sectors representing government, non-state actors, participated in the 6th learning session. Aligned with the International Women's Day, today's NEXUS Gain webinar will discuss the importance of the course to develop the transformational leadership capacity of women and men actors across the WEFE sectors to participate meaningful in NEXUS discourses, policy processes, decision-making, planning, and implementation. We have wonderful speakers in today's session who were very instrumental from the scoping study, the design and implementation of the transformative leadership program for women professionals in the water, energy, food ecosystem NEXUS in Nepal. They will share their experiences, insight on the need of the leadership program, strength and opportunity for the program, and also some lessons while participating in the design and implementation of the program. The session will also include reflection from course participants and also an opportunity for the audience to ask questions. As normal, please use the chat button to ask questions, share your thought and reflection while we are running the webinar. So without further delay, let me call upon the first speaker, Dr. Marlene Buchy from International Water Management Institute. As a setting the context of the Transformative Leadership Program, she will present the barrier to women professionals' influence in the water, energy, food ecosystem sector. Over to you, Marlene.
Thank you, everyone. I'm just going to put my slide. Share. Right, so hello, everyone. So the idea is that I'm going to provide a little bit of background to the course itself. And we published the result of the scoping study, as you can see the full reference here, in 2023, but we conducted a scoping study in 2022, where we invited, where we interviewed, and sorry, but the video is not moving anyway. We conducted a study interviewing women and men professionals within the WEFE sector, in the government sector, but also in CSO and the private sector, and some academics. We tried to have a balance of interviews with men and women. And what we found, and the questions, we asked questions around the WEFE sector, the WEFE network, the concept of the WEFE, but also questions around the role of men and women in the sector, and how men and women were facing challenges to engage in this the sort of interconnection between the sectors. And we sorry, but I think the slides are not moving, so I continue. So basically what the study found is that there are different sorts of issues that women in particular face in the sector, and some we can qualify as private issues, or private sphere issues, and public sphere issues. And basically, public sphere issues are all the issues related to the workplace. And within the workplace, there are broadly two types of issues. One type which is more the behavioral issues, and the other type which is more institutional bottlenecks. So in the behavior issue, we see mostly some constraints that women face because of the social norms and the idea that men and women have of the gender roles, and how those people have to perform their gender roles. So, for example, women feel that they have to prove themselves much more than men do, and they have to work extra hard to be recognized in the workplace. So this puts a lot of strain. This puts a lot of strain on women. On these sort of more institutional issues, there is, for example, gender focal points, but the gender focal points within the institutions do not have terms of reference, or do not have funding and resources to actually work as focal points. Some ministry and some department have a GESI policy, and some do not have. So there is also, institutionally, there is commitment and no commitment, or different kinds of commitment towards gender and social inclusion. And then finally, sexual harassment is a serious issue which women feel is not being addressed appropriately within the sector. So if we move to the private sphere, what we see is women in Nepal once they are married, they are primarily their primary duty and responsibility is to their family. So they have to prioritize their family, which limits their possibilities within the workplace to some extent. Women are also constrained by social norms in terms of their mobility. So it means, as a result, for example, men and women find it sometimes difficult to do field work together, because it is complicated for women to travel on their own with other men. And it can also sometimes create issues around, which hotel you stay with. So very basic issues, but men who are less less comfortable with traveling with women, feel a bit awkward, and then women tend to say, okay, well, I'm not going to go in the field. At the same time, if you're not going to the field, or if you're not having a posting in the field, your career progression is limited. So there is here this sort of where we see the private sphere and the public sphere are colliding to constrain women, because women, because of the social norms which restrict their mobility, and because they are not given, because of the perception that people have of their capacity, they are also not being posted in the field. And a lot of women would like to be posted in the field, but there is this assumption that women cannot perform in the field. So I guess and there are more details, of course, if you go to the paper. And again, I apologize for the PowerPoint, which is not working. In conclusion, what we can see is that there is an unevenness in the commitment to deal with gender and social inclusion issue within the sector. Some departments and some ministries are more committed than others. When there are laws and policies, they are not implemented. Often they are not implemented, partly because there is a lack of resource, but there is also a lack of commitment. And ultimately, what is important is that because women face constraints within their private sphere, as well as their public sphere, it means that any intervention has to deal with those two spheres. And I think this is one of the strengths of the course that we designed, is that we did not, and my colleagues will elaborate more, is that the course actually focuses not just on the science and the workplace, but also on how women and men themselves can deal with this issue. And so I think at this point, I will leave you here. And if you have further questions, we can discuss later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Marlene. Now, next I call upon Dr. Sanju Koirala from International Water Management Institute, Nepal, to introduce the Transformative Leadership Program we designed and implemented it in Nepal. Over to you, Sanju.
Namaste, everyone. I'm focusing my presentation on NEXUS Gains WEFE Leadership Program in Nepal. Let me start with a brief round of CGIAR NEXUS Gain initiative. The initiative was launched in 2022 with the energy, food, and ecosystem in selected transboundary river basin by developing research and capacity to strengthen system thinking and providing tools, guideline, training, and facilitation for analysis and research for development. NEXUS Gain had 5 major activities, and today I'll be focusing on one of the activities, that is on developing capacity for emerging women leaders by supporting women's empowerment through technical and leadership skill development. About the leadership program in Nepal, the program is designed as a transformative leadership program for professional working in water, energy, food, and environment sector. The program aims to create WEFE Nexus champion that can advance the uptake and implementation of people-centric WEFE approaches. Although the leadership course in Nepal was launched in June 2023, the program in Nepal began in February 2022 with the selection of the partner, Great International, to implement the program. Great International was selected as a partner as it had the pool of expertise working in WEFE sector for like different organizations related to WEFE sector for long years. Objective of the program is to develop the technical knowledge and analytical advocacy and negotiation skill of WEFE sector's professionals on WEFE Nexus approaches and their operationalization, develop the transformational leadership capacity of women and men actors across WEFE sector to participate meaningfully in Nexus discourse. The other objective is to capitalize on women's professionals' assets and develop a cadre of professionals aware of and able to address structural barrier to gender equality. Of the participants, the detail about the course will be shared by Dr. Bharat Pokharel later in the webinar. So I will focus more on the selection of the participant. First, there are many organizations working on WEFE sector. We selected some of the government, non-government, civil society, and private organizations working in WEFE sector, and then we held meeting with the organization, introducing our program, and requested to nominate the 4 interested and influential staff. Especially, we requested them to provide us 3 female and 1 male staff. Then Great International team selected the participants from the nominated list. Likewise, we also selected the mentor. First, the team identified and approached WEFE JC experts working in government, non-government, and private organization, and then interested and depending on the interest and availability of the proposed mentor and their willingness to volunteer over the period of 6 months, we selected the mentors. Participants belong to different organizations, like as I mentioned before, and we largely selected the participants from the government organizations. For instance, 11 female and 2 males were selected from government organization, and we focused mostly on government organization as purposefully, as we wanted to develop the critical mass there. Likewise, we also selected other participants, CSOs, private sector, and academic institution. Activities that we conducted in year 2023 was design and conduction of course, and then we also conducted reflection meeting and then in year 2024, we are planning to conduct a few activities. One of the activities is on strengthening activities for cohort of year 1. For this, we will conduct 3 follow-up and reflection sessions to share what they have been able to do differently after attending the course and challenge they have faced, support in conducting NEXUS dissemination session within their organization, and then support in conducting intra-ministries sensitization workshop on NEXUS concept. Likewise, we are also planning to conduct sensitization and wider dissemination of WEFE NEXUS approach at Sudur Pasim province. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sanju, for highlighting the transformative leadership programs, structured content, and also what next after this last year program. It also follows this year. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to request Dr. Bharat Kumar Pokharel from Great International Nepal to present the overview of the course of the transformative leadership program. Over to you, Bharat. Dr. Bharat.
So thank you so much. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity to Great International. It was such a pleasure to have this opportunity. I'm Bharat from Great International, presenting our experience of managing and delivering WEFE NEXUS leadership training for transformation, and with the background of what Marlene and Sanju provided you all, and with the strategic guidance of IMI Nepal, we, Great International, together with Governance Lab, Nepal, designed, managed, and delivered a training which was the first of its kind, I should say, in terms of its methodology, the way the iterative process that we created, the whole design process, the way that we could work together with IMI team here in Nepal. And the whole training was such an experience that we gained knowledge. We were not only delivering the training program, rather we were learning by ourselves, and the outcome of the training, that I should say very proudly that during the process of training, some of our participants and resource person were able to really work with government of Nepal and stakeholder to mainstream WEFE NEXUS approach to their workplace. And they have they started advocating the approach because they liked it. And particularly, it was the right time where the 16th plan of government of Nepal was under preparation, and many of our government officials who were the participants of training, actually, I could see that advocated for this approach to be integrated in policy development process. So what we learned and what we managed and what we delivered and how, I mean, this is the whole the content of the training. I will be focusing on 8 topics in a given time, which is 8 minutes, and now 7 minutes probably. And the first point is about the methodology, which was quite fascinating to develop this. It was developed in an iterative way, as I said, in a consultative way with our collaborators, the partners, the IMI, and governance lab. The course was used. We use adult learning approaches. And what we mean by this adult learning approaches is transformation learning and experiential learning. What we mean by transformation learning, which focuses on the idea that learners could adjust their thinking because they are experienced people and they are position holders, and they're thinking based on new information, and learners were also evaluating their past ideas and understanding and shifting their way, shifting their old view as they obtained new information and knowledge through critical reflection about NEXUS, WEFE NEXUS approach. And that was transformational learning approach. And what we were fascinated with this training methodology of experiential learning, where we could focus on ideas that the best way to learn things was by actually having experiences. Those experiences then stick out in your mind and help them to retain information and remember the facts. So these two methods, the experiential learning and transformational learnings, were a good blend where we could impress participants to make these trainings live. And the second area that I would not focus here too much is knowledge, attitude, and practice assessment, CAP we call it, and which Marlene touched upon a little bit, and we try to really understand what is their level of NEXUS approach, and what is their behavioral sort of behavior, and what training would impact them, and what is their expectation, so that they will actually continue. And that became our baseline, and this we have used during the process of each modules as part of the evaluation, and also at the end of the training program. The important part of training was the session design, and we designed training in 6 blocks. You can see that one was about NEXUS approach itself. It's a conceptual understanding, why this was important, particularly to bring water, energy, food ecosystem together, including climate, and why this JC plus, we call it JC plus in terms of intersectionality within the context of JC, to mainstream this into NEXUS approach. So therefore we were able to really critically analyze the existing approaches and try to mainstream JC approach into it. And then we wanted our women leaders to be a transformational leader, and not the transactional leaders anymore, which has which has many problems. And we offer them various tips based on different transformational leadership approaches and personalities, not only from Nepal, all over the world. And they could actually visualize and articulate what does that mean in terms of JC responsive WEFE NEXUS approach. And that particular, this 3 section would lay the foundation for enabling environment, particularly on policy development process, how this leadership could be developed, how JC responsive WEFE NEXUS approach could be mainstream in policy processes. And then we also tried our participants to really let them actually practice what they have learned, these 4 different modules, and then facilitate one of the blocks by themselves. And it was very fascinating to see that what they could learn and what they could not learn during the process of training. The third part actually which we introduced, which was quite new in terms of, we call it catch-up sessions or debriefing sessions, where the people who could not really attend, catch-up sessions were organized for those who could not attend the training session in person and were either out of country or still wanted to continue. This helped participants to keep the moment of learning going. And debriefing session, particularly with EME management, among and also among collaborators, ourselves with the governance lab, ourselves and some of the selected participants and staff were helpful to improve the methodologies and content of the training. So all the time, the training was changing. We could actually amend the training, improve the training, challenging each other, challenging the way we had actually planned before, and that was quite interesting. The fourth part was also quite interesting for us, is learning diary. And the purpose of this learning diary, in addition to the, additional element of, it was the additional element in the form of this diary, maintenance of the diary. Most of the participants and mentors maintain this with the following elements, I could say that. And, these, particularly, it was a kind of reflective documentation process. It was a personal sort of reflection, both the best part of it and the frustrating part of it, and also this, it was a tool for a progress tracking, and it enabled us to really offer continuous feedback and self-reflection. And that was also quite interesting for us. And the learning diary was of about 50 pages or more, and we actually faced some of the challenges that people really in the beginning were not very used to criticize by themselves, to feel the emotions, what happened. But later on, when we provided feedbacks, and this learning diary actually were interesting tools. Mentoring process with Meeta, Dr. Meeta will provide you more insights. Therefore, I will not go into detail. But mentoring process allowed mentors, all 18 professional mentors, to share their experience, the knowledge, the networks with their mentees. It also provided nurturing support to allow mentee to grow both within their field and the place of work, encouraging them to build their career and strengthening their leadership potential. And each participant was paired with a mentor who was experienced expert in WEFE sectors, some of the WEFE sectors, and they were asked to prepare a purpose roadmap, which is popularly known as PRM, to lay out their professional goals and the support they needed to work towards their goal. A mentee prepared this PRM, purpose roadmap, and discussed their outcome plan with mentors in their face-to-face interaction sessions. And that was quite interesting to understand the vision, the professional career ambition, and their personal circumstances. And that was also quite interesting for mentors itself. And this process was quite interesting, but our reflection is that many participants could not optimize the mentoring process because of different reasons, which we have documented. And in the future, that we will try to really improve this process even further.
So time is short.
Okay, so the sixth part, I have two more slides. That organizers reflection that I could really provide you. One reflection is that mentoring process, despite of its importance, could not be optimized. That is one reflection. The catch-up sessions were really powerful tools to motivate those who really could not make it. Participant reflections, actually, we have even documented this, and they were quite happy. And they initially they were not very sure, but when the training actually was productive enough to their day-to-day life in terms of their workplace, then it was very interesting from their perspective. It was not one-off event. Now we have forward planning that Amy and ourselves have designed, and this forward planning where we would try to really disseminate information, as well as try to reach out to provincial level and local level, because this training was more at federal level, and this is something that has not stopped. Finally, the conclusion that I could actually share is that the understanding, the enhancement of understanding was achieved. Some of the gender specific challenges have been addressed, and the training has been delivered in a collaborative mode, and the strategic outcomes, particularly mainstreaming JC Nexus, has been started, and we have also planned for the future. So thank you very much. I stop here, and any questions would be welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Pokharel, for elaborating the process and method, and also some reflection of the program. So now I request Ed to release, to show the short video that featured participant reflection of the program. Over to you, Ed.
As part of the NEXUS Gains Initiative, Work Package 5, Great International and Governance Lab, in collaboration with International Water Management Institute and the Alliance of Biodiversity and CGIAR, held a WEFE NEXUS leadership course in Kathmandu from June to December 2023. Throughout this half-year program, 22 dedicated participants comprising of 17 females and 5 males, representing various sectors like government, non-governmental organizations, civil society, and the private sector, actively engaged in 6 enlightening sessions. The course, grounded in adult learning approaches such as transformation and experiential learning, featured a valuable mentorship component.
The sessions was more important because it was the first time when the term WEFE Nexus was introduced to me. So to understand what it is from basic and to get more information about it with the session passage was something very interesting, along with different sessions like how the leadership should be, and integrating the concept of JESI and WEFE Nexus, and providing us the relevant case studies of the context of Nepal that gave us a more visualized aspects of what the communities or what the grounds are actually facing, and what are the challenges they have been facing, and what can be the solutions related to it. So sessions like this are very important for young people like us, because we keep on saying that young people are the agent of change, and when the sessions like this are given, it helps us more to become those agents, with us giving us the technical capacities and the knowledgeable sessions. It helps us to broaden our aspects and our horizons in the sector. So it's very important for young people to be incorporated in those sessions.
Striking part was getting connected to mentor, and I feel that it's a very good opportunity to build up connection with professionals who is working, has been working for a long time in the field of your interest, and is a source of continuous guidance to grow further in your work area. So that was an excellent experience.
After this, during this training course, we got opportunity to participate in different workshops related to water, energy. Also, I got opportunity to work in Kamla Basin Water Resource Implementation Action Plan as a working committee group member. So I can apply WEFE NEXUS in that action plan also. Actually, after this training program, I feel my capacity, leadership capacity is enhanced.
It is helpful to know more about the WEFE NEXUS in depth, and while working in my own field, for example planning, programming, and preparing the TOR for the research like that, this training helped to thought or consider different other sector like water, food, energy.
Some of the working places, they have not a proper gender inclusive environment, and some of the places they have a disparity between male and female, and other inclusion, social also disparity. So that to address these challenges in organizations, it should be addressed, and women professionals, I will encourage and empower the opportunity through opportunity and inclusive decision makings, and their professional development and mentorship and networking, creating supporting environment, working environment, and I will always recognize their feedback and their inputs in my decisions, in my professional decisions, in my office decisions.
The participants of the training have started to implement their learnings in their professional life.
Thank you so much for a wonderful video. Now we have two participants who attended the program, and we'd like to request them to reflect their experiences, how this training or this program has influenced their work and subsequent work. So now may I request Jigyasha from Department of Water Resource and Irrigation. Madam, over to you.
Namaste and good evening, everyone. I'm Jigyasha Yangkhurung. I work as a senior divisional engineer at Department of Water Resources and Irrigation in Nepal. Right now, I'm involved in Priority River Basins Flood Risk Management Project as a Deputy Project Director within the department. I'm also a focal person for Work Package 5 for NEXUS Gains initiative from the department. So I have been involved in this program from its inception. I'd like to thank CGIAR, NEXUS Gains, and EMI for providing this opportunity to share my experience as a participant in the development leadership capacity for WEFE NEXUS Actors program. When I first encountered the term WEFE NEXUS, I was intrigued because it was new to me. And as a professional in the water sector, I naturally assumed that water should be the central focus, However, the WEFE NEXUS encompasses a broader perspective, including water, energy, food, and ecosystems. And participating in this program has deepened my understanding, not only of the NEXUS approach, but also of the JC mainstreaming, how we can incorporate JC in our projects program and also in NEXUS approach, WEFE NEXUS. I now recognize JC goes beyond mere participation or recognition. It encompasses a wide range of factors that contribute to inclusivity and equity. So I would like to so some of the highlights of my program. The first one was the proposed roadmap. Like Bharat said that the introduction of the proposed roadmap during the program's initial sessions was particularly impactful because previously I was, quite uncertain about my career direction. As a government official, we have definite direction, you can different path. So I was just simply going with the flow. However, the roadmap provided a structured framework for me to reflect on my goals and aspirations. So the purpose roadmap was a transformative tool for me, and it gave me direction, clarity, and a renewed sense of purpose in my career. and another exploring the mentor-mentee relationship beyond the academic sphere was a new experience for me too. So I was fortunate to have a wonderful mentor who made a significant impact on my personal and professional development. I'd like to say that because my mentor is so amazing, and she consistently offered her support and guidance even amidst my very busy schedule. So her availability and willingness to assist were constant source of motivation for me. The reflection diary is my next highlight. So it was introduced during the initial session, and it was just like my personal diary, personal journey, where I could document my experiences, challenges, and accomplishments. Through regular reflections, I gained a deeper understanding of myself and my journey, and appreciating even the smallest progress that I made. So it was a reflection, and I really I am continuing writing the diary till now. So another was the friendship and networking that this program provided was immense. I was able to meet and connect with a diverse group of remarkable individuals, and each person I met were truly inspiring. It also presented an excellent opportunity to expand my professional network and cultivate meaningful friendship among them. The energy and enthusiasm of the people in the program were infectious, which motivated me even more. So my achievements, I like to say, from those were that these all have boosted my confidence and enhanced my leadership capacity, which I believe I'm demonstrating in my personal as well as in professional life now. Also, I have become more conscious towards the JC and equality as a whole, and I have become more conscious in maintaining good workplace environment, as well as encouraging others to do as well. And certainly I like to say that my thinking process or my thoughts have changed from sector approach to the NEXUS approach. So these are my achievements, I like to say. But there are so many challenges to implement WEFE and NEXUS immediately in our context. There are no clear policies on how we can include WEFE NEXUS approach in NEXUS approach in WEFE sector. There are some points on coordination and cooperations among various stakeholders, but what is the mechanism is not clear. So according to me, I think this is an enormous challenge. Also, there are institutional barriers in implementing this approach. Within the same organization, we are as a government official, we transfer from one organization or one section to another projects or programs like that. So we have to perform different roles, even sometimes conflicting roles, if depending upon which sections or project you are. So so this is really difficult, institutional barrier for us. And moreover, the cross-cutting sector like JC is not considered a serious matter in most of the technical organization, I like to say. And it is very unfortunate to say that, in our Department of Water Resource Irrigation, do not have a JC section. So it is really a challenge. Furthermore, unless we change our sector center mind or sector center thinking to NEXUS thinking, it is really difficult to implement this approach. Therefore, we have to start from ourselves to change our mindset for the WEFE NEXUS to take off. Also, it is sad to say that after this program, I'm not involved in any of the WEFE NEXUS program from our department, but I have definitely applied my skills and lessons learned from my daily activities, from the personal as well as in the professional work. In my work, like we have planned a training in JC, workplace harassment and sexual harassment, exploitation and abuse to our field level offices from our project, which is scheduled for 8 March on Women's Day. So it is really achievement, I think so. So also it is planned to include this training, the JC training, CR training, to all level of professionals within the departments, and we are going to implement in planning to implement in 3 different phases. And now we are also planning that I'm also planning to include the WEFE NEXUS training to all the officers of the department, to change the sector thinking to the NEXUS thinking mindset. Also, we are proposing a JC committee.
Ma'am,
We are planning to
time is running. Yes.
Okay, so thank you. So this JC committee within the department soon in the department to look after the JC sector. So I think hopefully it will be successful. So in summary, this program has developed NEXUS thinking in me, increased my confidence and enhanced my leadership skill. The networking was immense, and I really thank Amy and CGIAR for that. However, there are challenges to implement this NEXUS approach, and this is just the beginning. There are a lot more to do, but I believe with time and effort, we can be successful. So thank you. That's all from my side.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your very wonderful experience, our insight, and also achievement. Thank you so much. So now I request Madam Deepa from Ministry of Forest and Environment, Nepal, to shed the light on your experience on the training. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Manora Madam. Thank you, Amy, for this opportunity to present my experiences on during this training and onwards this training. My name is Deepawali, and I work as a forest official in Ministry of Forest and Environment in a climate change division, as well as I work for a gender mainstreaming in ministry. As I have been always saying that the Nexus is not new for us. It is for we forester. It is not new for us. We had already practicing and experiencing Nexus in the name of integration, which you can say in terms of agroforestry practices, either in watershed management or in climate change. But still, despite of all these practices, I found this Nexus approach a bit broader and also in a comprehensive method of integration. So this concept gave a way to look the forestry sector, not only the forestry sector, the natural resource management sector holistically. So it broadened our foresters narrow-minded for being just only a foresters. So having said that, I didn't want to go through the process of Nexus, what is good and what is missing and what could be better, because it is not worthy. What is most worthy is introducing the Nexus and JC responsive Nexus together with empowering women personnel, especially the women women personnel in this sector itself is a very novel and innovative actions of EMI and the Great International together with Governance Lab. So this is what is very important for me. And talking about Nexus, there are 2 different components which is very important for me. The first one is the component itself, Nexus itself, because what is required for sustainable development is the integration, is what you say, the Nexus, and what the forestry sector is planning to have. So the concept Nexus is very important.
Slide is not moving.
Okay, it is. I will go on to the slide also. And the second one is obviously the JC responsive Nexus. So being a JC practitioner and JC person of Minister of Forest and Environment, I was always aware of that. And this JC responsive Nexus also enlightened my journey in that way. So in both way, it is very important for me. So talking about what I learned from this. And the first one is broaden my knowledge. Obviously it broadened my knowledge in several new concepts, or revising some older concept that I am particularly known about. So the first one is obviously it broadened my knowledge, and the second one is the skills. Obviously the Nexus, we are practicing, we are trying to bring the Nexus in discourse in Minister of Forest and Environment. So this, it also help me to develop my skills. Having said this, it also, we observe minutely the leadership skills of many mentors and the facilitators. So So it goes beyond the theory. So this is also another skills we observed and we learn from this whole process. And another one is like Jigyasha just said, the networking and the motivation is very helpful for us during the whole process. And the last one is obviously is
दिपाजी तपाईको स्लाइड चाहिँ रोल भएको छैन है. It's okay because your deliberation is very clear, so probably you don't need slide also, but now yes, it is now changed. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. And the last one is attitude. So it gradually is in process. I don't say that it has increased my leadership skills all of a sudden, but I would surely like to say that it gives us one more, it gives me at least one more track in my leadership journey. So it is useful for me in that way. And what after Nexus? So I feel so unfortunate that I couldn't work much with my mentor, but still there is a hope, there is scope to work with her because she is so much dedicated in terms of mentor-mentee relationship, and we obviously take our relationship ahead so we can work on it. It's a platform given by the Nexus approach. And the second one is what after Nexus is. In the climate change, especially in COP28, I'm the one who is managing whole Nepal's pavilion from Minister for Forest and Environment. So with Monora Madam, we are managed to have a particular Nexus Nexus side event in our Nepal's pavilion, and in that pavilion also in Dubai. I was one of the panelists to reflect the JC response. Why JC responsive Nexus is important in resource management. So I call it as my global exposure on the Nexus. So it also opened my window in that sector. So it has been very useful for me in that part. And the third, but very important is Bharat already mentioned that we are managed to introduce the term Nexus approach in 16th plan in terms of our forestry sectors part of 16th periodic plan. So it is a huge achievement. Having said this, I really want to emphasize as I already I have also been saying in the training also, it has to, if we really want to have a WEFE output, we need to work on the sectors and WEFE governance. So it is beyond of our personal approaches. So if we need to work on sectors, we have to work on a policy level, or we have to work on a political discourse. So as I already said that this overall JC Nexus approach help us to work on our agency, that our agency is already being ready to work on a Nexus, but our institution doesn't allows us to work on the Nexus because our governance, our sectors, our people are still on that stereotype of being very narrow in our own in our own sector. So that's why I have always been saying that together working with agency, we have to work on a structure. If we can go the agency and structure hand in hand, then we can achieve the WEFE network WEFE output as a whole. So it's my experiences of what I'm trying to implement, and what challenges I face during the implementation. So I request all of you present here to work on the WEFE sectors governance beyond us and beyond the personal approach. We have to work on that in the NPC level or in
time is running.
approach.
Can you conclude?
Okay, so my point is, my last point is, let's work on a structure and agency hand in hand, so we can get the WEFE output as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your very rich experience and also reflection. Very much appreciated. Now, our last speaker, last but not least, I request Dr. Meeta Pradhan, who is one of the mentor of this program, and can share her experience as a mentor of this leadership program. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay. Good evening, good morning, namaste, everybody. Like Dr. Bharat Pokharel said, I am very appreciative and grateful to the CG group and particularly to the IMI group here in Nepal for giving Great International, my colleagues and I, this opportunity to to pilot this leadership development program. It's been a wonderful opportunity to work very closely with IMI colleagues in designing, redesigning this leadership program at the national, at the federal level, and we have a lot of lessons learned to take this year down to the province and the local level. So we hope to sort of refine the program. I am going to focus on an innovation that we decided to test and to sort of, to implement in this training program, and it's all about having a mentoring relationship. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the challenges and the gains that we had. Next, please. I wanted to start off with just my own, my own mentoring sort of journey. In the 25 plus years of my professional life, I've had a lot of opportunities in different parts of my life to have mentors. They were mostly women, but some men too. And they helped me. I mean, I remember the very first time that I was literally holding on to my mentor at that time was to take up my first job in a very remote mountain area in the very early 90s. And this was specifically because I was going to be the only female out there in the project site. But starting from that point, over different periods of time when I had to make job transitions or when I had to deal with different kinds of conflicts in the workspaces, and also sort of balancing the different parts of my life, I had a lot of help from different mentors. I also had a chance to be a mentor, and this was primarily within the work setting. And I guess it also came from being a senior staff in the different organizations I worked with. So I got a chance to help out, chat with, talk to, have dialogues with a lot of younger colleagues. And they were, again, mostly women. But apart from them, I still am also talking to a lot of young graduates and trying to help them with their career decisions and directions. Most of the time, my own, being a mentor, my own experiences have been leading professional, dialogues. But then for women, the professional has always been the personal as well. So it's been striking this balance between different parts of life. Next, please. But I also had the chance to have a more formal mentoring experience in terms of actually learning how to do a more, be a mentor more formally. And this was an opportunity given by the award mentorship program, in which Dr. Sanju Koirala, who spoke to all of you earlier, and I had the opportunity to attend a workshop. I was asked by Sanju, whom I didn't know at that time, to be her mentor. And even though I was reluctant at first, she was so persuasive, and she was so humble, and so sounded so kind and very nice. I just agreed to her request, and both of us met for the first time in Naivasha in Kenya, where the workshop was taking place. So through this mentorship program, I was able to get introduced to, and also was reminded about a lot of tools that I had earlier sort of, learned about and experienced. But the new one was the Purpose Roadmap, which is primarily a career mapping process, where, you also map out where you want to go and what are the different elements, both academic and experience-wide, that you need to do. You need to, take into consideration, as well as communication and active listening skills, conflict management. We had an excellent opportunity. We had the time and space to sit together, just focus on our relationship, get to know each other. Throughout the workshop, we had opportunities to craft an action plan that we, made a commitment to follow up on. And after, the 1 week program, we came back and we were working along the action plan, but the award program staff sent us reminders and we had to report back. So, it was a very formal experience. And for me, I got to know this young, very serious, very passionate professional, which I know I will cherish this experience for a long time. So, but the interesting part was after this project, very soon after, we developed this mentor-mentee relationship. I also had the opportunity then to be part of the leadership training program, where we now both Sanju and I developed a professional relationship. So some of the challenges, in this particular setting was that we had very little formal time post-workshop. Both of us were busy with our own commitments, work and all. The workshop had also talked about a community of practice between all the participants, but that did not really work out too well. And I also often wondered whether there has to be a community of practice all the time, especially when it's more supply-driven rather than demand-driven. For the two of us, the professional relationship that we evolved into actually encroached upon our mentorship process because we, particularly for Sanju, for my mentee, it was difficult to have open conversations, and we were meeting very often, but it was it was more on a formal sort of work-related stuff. So we had to decide to create a safe space once again in order to continue our mentor-mentee relationship. And this was particularly on our own time, not necessarily related to the mentorship program. Next, please. So we introduced, we decided to introduce this mentorship element into the leadership development program. And as previous speakers, had said, we identified mentors. There were WEFE and JESI, gender equality, social inclusion experts in Nepal, all of whom volunteered. Some of them were specialists, sectoral specialists, and others were more generalists, but the generalists were actually JESI champions. We gave the participants three choices. We gave them the list of the mentors that we had, recruited, and we gave them three choices, the first, second, third, and then we did our best to match them. But due to the limited number of mentors that we had, some of the mentors also had two mentees. And our experience was that only a few pairs actually worked together, over the 6-month training period. And actually, you've already heard from a few of them, and I also see a few of them as participants in this webinar. Not everybody was able to take up this opportunity. Next, please. So, which of the in our assessment, which of the pairs, the mentor-mentees pairs worked well? We felt that the mentees who got their first choices, the people that they knew, they tended to have a longer sort of relationship. Mentors who were specialists, either water experts or forest experts or, food experts, and particularly those with high profiles, from the government or even from INGOs, they had a relatively better sort of working relationship. Gender differences did not seem to matter as long as the profile of the mentor was sort of high enough, senior. We had a member of parliament, we had, people from the government, high-level people from the government. So gender did not seem to matter so much, but we didn't have enough time to actually delve into it. And whenever the mentors were very proactive, we felt that the relationship worked well. But why did the mentorship element not work so well primarily for the mentees is we felt that a lot of the mentees did not fully understand what the relationship was all about, the potential that it had, and also the value of it. We also felt that the mentees who did not know their mentors very well, or even not at all. They might have had a lot of issues related to discomfort or trust, or even perhaps safe space. And but what we heard a lot was that the mentees didn't have time to spend with their mentors. Next, please.
We have 1 minute
Yeah,
left.
yes. I'm almost done. So what we found was that for a good mentor-mentee relationship to be had, it has to be demand-driven rather than supply-driven. And in our case, this was definitely, the whole training was supply-driven. The mentors that we offered was supply-driven, and the program, the innovation, was supply-driven. Trust, confidence, and access is foundational for a relationship. Mutual respect, co-learning, and sharing actually helps it grow. It shouldn't be a one-way kind of thing. Coaching and communication skills is particularly important, and I think we were not able to give enough tips to the mentors to do more coaching and communication rather than prescribing answers to the mentees. And whenever you have an unequal power relationship, then you need to be handling this relationship very, very carefully. For women in particular, I just wanted to emphasize that the personal is professional and vice versa. So sharing, caring, and unburdening should not be viewed as a weakness, but rather understood that it can build strength of mind and purpose. And the last slide. So I just wanted to show... Yeah, the last slide where, Sanju and I took it at the award program. And there is one slide where we don't have all the participants of the program, but a majority of them. So thank you very much. And I will be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Pradhan. So we are very sorry that we couldn't manage time, but time is running out. We have a few minutes left, and there are some questions. One question is related to Dr. Bharat. Have you seen that question, sir, from Matthew? There are a few questions in the question answer, like some colleague asked, how do I get a mentor? How can you take this training? There are some questions, how do I participate in this training? But there is one question from Matthew. Mentoring element of the program seems to have been very successful and highly appreciated by the participant, but Bharat seems to indicate the lesson had been learned for improvement. What would be the interest? So you'd be interested.
Okay, so I mean, Meeta ji must have, Meeta ji cover most of the challenges that we faced, and one of the challenges that I have also put forward in this comment box is that the pairing process, in the pairing exercise, I would say, we had the list of participants and list of mentors. And this pairing exercise was done by us, by the organizers, taking different elements into consideration, like gender, the specialist background, as Meeta ji said, the availability, whether mentor is from government and non-government sector, the profile, position, age, and so on. And that was our sort of theoretical exercise, of course, I would say that. But we didn't involve participants in that pairing exercise. Probably that would have given more ownership of mentor and mentee mutually. I think this is our reflection, and there are also other elements which Dr. Meeta actually highlighted. I hope that clarifies.
Just an additional brief note is that if we had had enough time, then we would have asked the participants, we would have given a brief note on what a mentor-mentee relationship is all about, and then for them to go to find their own mentor, or maybe if they had one, to sort of bring them into the fold. So we didn't have time for that, unfortunately. So that's why we kind of, even though we tried to introduce an innovation, which many of us have found very useful, we were not able to do a good matching, and we were not able to ask the participants to bring in their own mentors. And I also wanted to just touch upon a few other questions. One other question that a few participants have brought up. This, as far as I know, and Manohara ji will be able to answer it better, but as far as I know, this training program was kind of a test case, kind of like a pilot. And we have a manual that is going to be coming out. We have a final report that reflects all our learnings. A lot of those reflections will also go in the next round of trainings. But once we have that training manual out, I think other countries, other groups might also be able to take up this training and to see how helpful it can be. But as far as we know, in Nepal, we don't have plans to do another round at the national level, but definitely at the province and the local level in this year. Thank you.
Yes, and also all the material we develop from Nepal will be available online also. That could be useful resources for other country to learn also. So thank you so much. We are already out of time, 1 minute over. On behalf of NEXUS Gains Initiative, I'd like to thank very much, extend our thank to the presenter, speaker, and also participant and audience who raised a question. Thank you so much for your time, and also giving us this valuable time is very much important. As in the chart, we said that our next webinar will be in April. The topic of webinar will be on health and next WEFE Nexus. I hope to see you also there also. Thank you so much, everyone.